looking forward to moments like this that you miss as a player.
A real battle ahead of us. You know, two teams, not much between them, and it's knockout rugby, and this is what we're all here to see.
Had an early touch for Darren Sweetenham, who was called in this morning when Mike Haley, the fullback, who started 21 times for Munster, his new side, having made the move from Sale Sharks in England, woke up feeling ill, not able to play a part in this quarter-final.
It's a real test of a squad, actually, Miles. You know, late injury like that, and how good are your systems? Someone can slot in straight away, and it would surprise me if Munster aren't like that. You can just see them straight away. You know, decision made. Conway and Sweetman in, and on to the next thing.
And Sweetman wearing 14, but operating at the moment as a left winger. McInally finds his man. Pyrgos got the ball away, but then was taken to the floor as Munster let him know, the scrum half. But he's in a game, and he knows again now as Niall Scannell pounced on the loose ball with Pyrgos not there.
No.
And Munster will be looking to Conor Murray, not at his best, clearly in the Six Nations, but to combine with Carberry, chances few and far between this season for them to be together in Munster colours. And Carberry with those silky skills
that he showed coming on, you know, for Ireland, and you know, a couple of weeks ago, at Murrayfield. You know, some massive pressure on Joey Carberry today to not only reunite with Conor Murray, but you know, just really show his class in a game that is really high stakes. So a lot of pressure, and we see Murray being put under a lot of pressure from this Edinburgh pack.
Both scrum halves really feeling the heat early on.
The ruck is going to be a massive contest going forward for both sides. Wow, we've just seen the turnover there. And it looks like it's McInally in the mix.
Holding on the call, ball wasn't released. And Edinburgh get the first penalty. Here's the pressure on Conor Murray. Ball was out, and as soon as he lifts it, it's fair game.
I mean, when it comes to the speed of ruck, that's what's going to be really important between these two sides. Edinburgh obviously identified a pile in, put Murray under pressure, and kind of build on that pressure that they're getting, and they get the opportunity to get in on the ball. And now, really interesting call, they're not going for the points, they're going for the corner for the line out, which is, Coppell said early on, they're going to out Munster, and I think it's a perfect opportunity, Brian, for them to do that.
100%. When you got a kicker like Van der Walt, who's been so good off the tee this season, it definitely shows their intention. This pack from Edinburgh has definitely got something different, a bit more grunt under Richard Cockrell, and they'll be wanting to put a lot of pressure under Munster first up.
Here goes Mata over the game line. Pyrgos. Can Edinburgh give their fans the perfect start? McInally finding his man again at the line out. It was Toulis that time. Now it's Schumann, the prop. Pyrgos, oh, that's good. Pyrgos again. Van der Merwe, after Van der Walt had a go before him, hitting the ball at pace. Now it's big Grant Gilchrist. Pyrgos looks again, referee looks again. That's another penalty at the breakdown. Mata will have another go.
Hoyland is right out on the edge here for Crossfield if they've got penalty advantage.
And he's screaming for it. Falls for Barkley. Opposite number Omani. What a contest we have in store between those two.
No, first advantage.
Hoyland still wants it, but it's up the middle first. Now Van der Walt finds the centres and out to Darcy Graham. Dropped, but it was advantage all through that long attack. Gilchrist couldn't hold. No Mata. And what about Bill Mata?
I mean, every time Mata gets his hands on the ball, I want to see something happen. I want him to see him offload. I want to see a crazy offload like he did, Brian. I think it was against Toulon, wasn't it?
At Stade Mahol, yeah, and I think you just see the the whole crowd get sort of edge of their seat stuff when he gets his hand on this ball, and like we've seen in these opening couple of minutes, he's a guy that automatically gets over the advantage line. He draws in 2, 3, 4 players, and Munster will know he'll be a big threat, and Edinburgh could look to exploit that in terms of getting players running off him, and like I say, being able to hopefully see another offload like we did at Stade Mahol a couple of months ago.
a great carry by him off the line out there. They don't need to set up the maul, but they spin around the ball and they run. Mata gets onto it, hard runner, gets momentum. Looks like Scannell there is caught offside, kind of locked into the ruck. Interesting that they're going for the corner again, Miles.
And a lock in the shape of Jean Klein has had to leave the field for a head injury assessment. On comes Billy Holland. That memorable steal against Exeter. Well, can he do it again here, right at the start of the match? McAnally, impeccable so far, and again finds Toulis. Edinburgh look for the drive.
Great sacking of the maul there by Munster. They showed some real clinical advice to do that, and like I said, now we'll see Edinburgh try pick and go and get as close to that try line as possible.
They said they would take Munster on just like this. Can they stress them to the point of conceding points? Pick and drive, go Edinburgh. Holland, the new man, working away, but it's fallen to Mata. Saw it was on. Great defence from Munster again. Turn down the kicks at goal. Here's Hamish Watson. Over those 15 rampaging minutes
a great turnover
against Wales. It is a great turnover, and the Munster defence win that little battle.
Given that eruption from the crowd, I'm not too sure whether we're at Thornton Park or over in Edinburgh. Fantastic defence, really disciplined. Not only in staying on their feet, but putting numbers in that breakdown and force a turnover.
I think it was CJ Stander who got in on it. A man like that, when he gets low, gets his body position right, he's so strong with his legs. You can see Watson here gets a little bit isolated. Tyburn does really well to get him to ground early. You could argue that Tyburn is maybe blocking him, but CJ Stander does really well to stay in on that fight and stay on the ball and force the turnover.
And Miles, it's sort of the old age question that everyone asks. Turning down 2 points, 2 shots at goal, 6 points up, is now very different to having to fight back into your own half. So, some interesting thinking, and yes, take Munster on, but they're having to convert those points, which they haven't done in this opening stanza.
I was chatting with Richard Cockrell, pitch side, captain's run yesterday, about that very thing, about taking the points in big games. But Edinburgh clearly wanted to impose,
particularly against Munster, who statistically have conceded the least amount of points and tries in domestic and Europe. So you got to take your chances when they come.
As the boys picked up, they certainly make a case when the tackle was made by Byrne that there was no great attempt to roll away. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's getting round on the wrong side, blocking off, making it that little bit easier for Stander, but players will play right up to the margin.
Wait!
Up to the referee to officiate. Chased from Keith Earls, one member of the Munster squad, who was part of a winning Champions Cup team.
That's going to be a great contest out there today, Miles. Keith Earls up against Duan van der Merwe. Duan van der Merwe has been one of the shining lights in this Edinburgh backline, over the last couple of months, and Keith Earls with his experience, makes for a really tasty contest.
It's interesting that Munster put Earls on Van der Merwe. Bit of a height disparity between the two, but it's not those two contesting that ball. But it is Dave Kilcoyne trying to bring the ball away for Munster. And his first Six Nations start with those caps. There's Italy recently. Good hands there from Niall Scannell, who's been excellent form, pushing very hard for an island place on a regular basis. There's John Ryan, man of the match against Toulouse in the quarter-final 2 years ago. Billy Holland, who stayed out there, and Klein still off. Carberry might have got that a little bit off the side of the boot, but it's still fairly useful. Made useful by the chase of Niall Scannell, with a Rory in the centre, of course.
Seven, back!
Mata has another go. As it slows right down here. Pyrgos, one of the best at this, the box kick. And it gave his winger every chance there. And Van der Merwe with those powerful legs pumping away in the challenge. Jack O'Donoghue, first Champions Cup start of the season. His return last week after a serious knee injury. Because Murray can box kick so well too. We'll see plenty of them. And hopefully we'll see plenty more of this man, Kylian Mata. The ball lost on the floor. Turnover's excellent. Now Scannell back to Murray. And there's Rory Scannell. And there's plenty of space there. Edinburgh forced a long way back for the first time in the match. This is staying in. Andrew Conway. Memorable quarter-final try last year. He's looking for a similar type of thing here. Oh, he's got it. Brilliant chip and chase there. Murray. Scannell to CJ Stander. And now start to see the Munster 8 as a carrier, an attacker. No. But it's turnover ball again. And Barkley, oh, he throws the down and puts the kick in as well. Watson's chasing.
With some good pace there.
Little push on Earls maybe. Watson's there, takes it. Referees waved it on. What ball this is for Edinburgh. Arm held out as well. That is pretty cynical. That has to be a yellow card, surely.
He might be in a bit of trouble there. It depends on the picture the referee sees there. If he sees Edinburgh pinning him in there, I think he just gets a penalty. If he's doing something else and the ref thinks he's doing something else on purpose, he could find himself in a bit of hot water here, Miles.
He's just saying there that it wasn't a push in front, but I think they're under a lot of pressure at this rock, and it's going to be a pretty tight call. Not too sure whether he's going to go up to the TMO, but like you rightly said, Jamie, Edinburgh with some fantastic front foot ball and putting Munster under a lot of pressure to make some silly errors in their own 22.
Great pace there by Watson, by the way, to stay up with on the chase with Earls and Van der Merwe.
The referees had another look. Eric Gozan, the television match official, wanted to look at that as well. My first reaction was that, given what was on, what was possible there, that is pretty cynical.
Number 5 is a cynical form. He throws the ball, he stays on the ball. He's been until yellow card.
Had to be.
And it comes to back to the picture the referee sees, Miles. He sees Ty Byrne kind of staying on the ball for that half second too long and then make an effort. It'd be interesting to see what they do here, if they go for the corner like they have done. And it looks like they are going to do that, but that's a big loss, having Ty Byrne off the field for 10 minutes. He'll be bit disappointed, but Munster in Europe have statistically been the most penalised side. They've got to be careful with that.
Well, now is the time to go for the corner with the extra man, with the lock off. Ty Byrne. Edinburgh do roll the dice here, probably correctly, you would feel. Or correctly if they get the points.
It's a great setup.
McAnally breaks away. Can he stretch? Just held up. Watson's there. He's going to leave it for Mata. And they come bursting out the blocks to tackle again. 2 locks there for Edinburgh.
They're very tight.
Very tight. We see Hoyland out on the right hand side here for Edinburgh calling the ball. He's probably got about 20 metres of space on his own, and if Van der Walt can just look up to see that, there's massive opportunity.
Hoyland is going to lose his voice soon, but it's staying with the forwards as they try and grab this crucial meter. Up comes John Ryan.
Stay. Last foot.
Nell. Struman. Barkley now waits. They said it will be attritional, and we're seeing it in all its glory here.
Oh wow.
Munster get the penalty, and just look at the reaction.
I think it's Jack O'Donoghue in the mix there. When you get into that grind of pick and goes, you've got to be careful. You've got to have the numbers with you, because if you're just falling to the ground automatically without driving, without your supporters rooking over you, this is what's going to happen. You're going to give an opportunity for them to get a sniff on it. It looks like John Ryan does really well to get out of there, so he gives the good picture that he's making the effort to get out of there. And I think it's Jack O'Donoghue who's on the ball, hands are on it, good fighting position, and you're not moving them. And you know, Munster have shown defensively they are hard to crack, particularly if you want to get into that arm wrestle.
Munster unbelievably pride themselves on the defence, and we've seen that in this opening 13 minutes. But again, another point of reference where Edinburgh turned down 3 points, and yes, the yellow card, and potentially easy to defend a line-out drive. But again, 9 points up on the scoreboard in a quarter-final where it's a winner-take-all. You got to start thinking about when do they start making that decision to rather go for poles. When they're putting Munster under so much pressure in their own half.
Did you see John Ryan there when he knew he was on the wrong side? He was trying to show a good picture to the referee, and the picture that he showed was of a man scrambling underneath some barbed wire very carefully. John Klein is coming back. He's passed his HIA. Billy Holland certainly played his part again.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see Billy later on in the game. And I think Munster's bench is really influential in this game, and that will play a part in that last 20 minutes, because this is going to be a game of attrition, and it's going to be an iron wrestle all the way up to the last 80 minutes. So the bench is going to be huge. So I'd say Billy Holland will be keeping himself warm and getting ready to go again.
Jim Hamilton is pitch side for us. Jim, it's an interesting start, isn't it, with Edinburgh turning down those points.
Backwards.
Indeed it is. Carberry, that's ricocheted a little bit. Might work for Earls. Just beats him. Taking a chunk out of the sin bin period already, these Munster men.
I mean, Joey will take that all day. I think he's happy that they're in their half. I mean, territory-wise, Edinburgh have had 77% of territory basically, and 60% of the possession. So they've got to be, they'll be happy that they're now inside their half, because they're such a set-piece team, and they have a launching platform now.
Oh, and that's thrown over the top deliberately from brother to brother. Niall to Rory. Up from Conor Murray. Munster here playing like they have the full 15, and down goes Van der Merwe. Just bit of a shaky fall on the ball.
It's going to be a 5-metre scrum for Munster.
Touched by the blue, grounded by the blue, scrum 5.
My 5 years into London has got me understanding a little bit of what the French referees are saying out there, but it sort of looked like Conor Murray overcooked that just a little bit. But I think Keith Earls did really well just to get up and just cause a little bit of obstruction in terms of the ball coming down cleanly. And like I say, 5-metre scrum after the amount of pressure Munster have been in for the first 15 minutes will get them really happy.
It'd be interesting to just see if he, so he's touched that. Doesn't look like Keith Earls has touched that ball.
It's all flew back into the into the try line. So
C'est le bleu.
C'est le bleu. C'est le bleu.
Blue player.
I'm definitely not going to say allez le bleu, but it's c'est le bleu.
You can say it. I'll be happy with that. But listen to that crowd.
First turn, man. Shoulder.
You actually think you'd be in Thomond Park when you listen to that crowd?
And somebody was saying 15,000 have made the trip.
Crunch.
I think the queues in the bars last night were 15,000 deep.
I think they were all on my flight this morning, to be honest, Miles.
And I'm hoping there's enough Guinness in and around Edinburgh for all of the travelling fans today, Miles, Jamie.
Too early.
I don't think that's a problem.
Too early at set. Boss.
This is a big scrum. Of course, a man down still, without that extra weight.
Wait, my call.
A man down, Miles, but they've scored. I think it's 11 of the 14 tries in the championship in Europe off set piece. So this is an unbelievable platform for them to go for.
And they've thrown Chris Farrell in there. The centre has joined the scrum here. There he is on the flank.
Bye!
And he's pretty sizable. He's a good back to throw in.
He could be a back row any day of the week.
And the ball's not even gone in.
I need a strong bind, long bind for you. I need an elbow up. Elbow up.
We should have also got a light drizzle coming down on Murrayfield, and one wants to know, does that actually change the tactic for both teams? We've seen Edinburgh trying to out Munster. That hasn't really happened at the moment, and Munster will probably look to, with an extra back in that pack now, try to get a push over scrum or get some form of penalty.
Set. No.
Scrum collapses, but the referee's going to let this go. Look at Purgos all over Murray. He's tapped that down.
That's got to be cynical. That's got to be cynical.
It's gone quickly. Keith Earls! He knew exactly what he had to do. Referee's happy. Edinburgh aren't. And Munster, a man down in the sin bin. 5-metre scrum, user back, and another little back. Keith Earls pops up to score the first points.
I mean, Edinburgh have no one to blame but themselves there. I mean, the ref is talking to Purgos. He's telling him not to go for it. You can listen. Like, look at it here. He's telling him not to go for it, not to interact, and he slaps it down. Keith Earls, quick as you like, sees the advantage, goes for it, and he's straight in, because the pack are all ahead of the ball and they can't do anything.
I think the one thing Purgos was potentially complaining about is the continuation of the tackle by Conor Murray post the slapping down of the ball. But some fantastic quick thinking by Keith Earls. His forward pack would have got up for that scrum, looked up and see the little man dotting over the try line, and been really happy with the outcome.
And that's quick thinking from Murray as well.
I mean, I don't know why people are giving out about it. I mean, Edinburgh kind of shot themselves in the foot there. Now Joey has a great chance to slap this over.
It's been an early charge on the conversion, Carberry, and they're coming again now when he started his run. But he kept it all out of his mind. He was in the zone, and it is 7-0 to the men in red.
That is huge when you consider the possession and the territory that Munster have had up to this point. Their first really foray into Edinburgh's 22, and they come back with 7 points. Those missed opportunities of penalty, Brian, will be a bit frustrating now, won't they?
It'll be very frustrating, and all of a sudden we got a fantastic quick turnover from the restart, and Edinburgh will be looking to get back into the swing of things as quickly as possible.
What a chance this is. Ball knocked forward by Munster on the restart. Before that we saw the reaction of Ty Byrne from the sin bin to what his colleagues had done halfway through this first half. Lots to talk about already.
And Miles, how crucial, we talk about the restart being a form of first phase possession, and again Edinburgh wanting to turn things around and getting a reclaim back of that kickoff. Munster will be ruining that missed opportunity of just getting back out of their half where they've been in for most of the first 20 minutes.
There's Hamish Watson doing what he does so well. Nice link work from Toulis. Roundabout got the offload in to Gilchrist. And listening at the moment, and thanks for his time, Richard Cockerell, the Edinburgh boss. Richard, we talked yesterday about taking points. Just thoughts on that and the decisions made?
Oh, look, the kickers aren't comfortable right in those wide edges to kick for goal, so they went to the corners, and look, we're a little bit unlucky. Munster to get to the ball because they've got their tight head line in the back of the tackle, and then the other end of the field, you've got, is it a knock on or is it a knock back, and the bits go against you. So look, we've just got to stay in the battle. We've got to control the bits that we've just seen around the breakdown, and not get too flustered. But we knew it was going to be like this, and we have to do it better.
Brilliant, thanks, Richard.
Cheers, guys.
Penalty won by that man Farrell.
I mean, it's a big moment for them, and now they're back into their set piece move, and into their patterns and into their systems now, and that's all off kind of easy errors, just like Richard kind of mentioned, that they got to cut out around the rucks times and get themselves back into the game, hold on to the ball.
Here's Conway, supported by Ty Byrne. Now back on, it's 15 versus 15 again, and it's John Ryan, and It's also Bill Mata. We're seeing some wonderful interceptions here. Bits of skill amidst all the power. And there's plenty of that too. Barkley waits.
Back foot, back foot. No.
Pyrgos got to be sharp with those. Charge down nearly occurred again. Carvery bumping around there like a dodgem car. Murray spins it. He wants a quick service there to kill Coyne, realising there was a little bit of potential of width.
Good tackle on the chest.
Earls to Carberry. Those quick feet. Just signed an extension through until 2022. Great news for Munster fans. And they got a good one. Won the tournament, of course, with Leinster
Very good. No.
last season, but came to Munster for regular first team starts. Yeah, the ball doesn't come back quickly enough for Pascal Gauzer.
Miles, has been really interesting to see how crucial the breakdown and the cleanouts have been throughout the course of this game so far. Penalties won for both sides, and it's about getting that first cleaner in as quickly as possible. But we've seen the jackler on both sides getting there before the first arrivals, and that's putting the breakdown under a lot of pressure for both teams. And as this game progresses, that can become even more evident as we go on.
McInally really is the extra back row forward, of course. Played in that role before in his career, and you can see it.
I think in today's rugby, everyone on the field's got to be able to have that ability to get their head stuck in a ruck. Gone are the days where your back's out wide, don't put an effort into making sure they can turn over possession. And we see in not only global rugby but rugby in Europe where decisions like that for backs to stick their heads in and make important turnovers is crucial for every team.
Johan van Graan, who came from South Africa, formerly with the Bulls. For days like these, really.
I'm sure he's loving the atmosphere, but maybe not the temperature.
Well, he's actually pretty accustomed. I got to stay with him for that first round, Jamie, and he's still walking around in his shorts at home at the moment. So I think he's accustomed to it pretty quickly.
Here's Pyrgos. Van der Veld to Van der Merwe. McInally now in the loose. Good run from the skipper. Van der Veld finds Hoyland, who at last gets his hands on the ball. He's waited patiently.
No, we need blue now. Okay. Your feet.
Dummy thrown by McInally. Pyrgos again. Here comes Mata. Pyrgos. Van der Veld looking for Hoyland, who's come in field now. See more ball in the last minute than the whole of the match. Before that, here's Watson. And then Dean. Well played by Chris Dean to get that going forward again. Pyrgos. Gilchrist to WP Nell. Here's Schumann. Pyrgos to Van der Veld. And Johnston. Oh, that's Farrell.
And Munster also not committing too many players at the breakdown, which gives them 14 men on their feet. But as you see,
Darcy Gray.
don't worry about it. Darcy Gray with a fantastic pickup.
Watson.
And we've got a Munster player down in the background, so all of a sudden back to 14 on defence, struggling.
Yep, there are a man down here, and it could matter.
O'Donoghue definitely not looking comfortable. Something's wrong, but he's got up and put himself in that defensive line.
Here they go again. Christine. Edinburgh needed that. That will really settle them.
We talked about the speed of ruck, Miles, and the importance of it in terms of not allowing the defensive line to be set. But look at this, great little pick-up. They get momentum into it. He keeps the momentum going. He knows what he's doing. And then just good good speed of ruck, gets width. Munster a little bit tight defensively. Connor probably gets caught looking in a little bit rather than looking up and seeing what's in front of him. And yeah, in goes Dean.
Maybe, as Brian was saying, a little bit unsettled there, Munster, having the man down during that move, trying to fill the gap.
All of a sudden, you had Donny coming into
Dean.
the wrong side of the defensive line. So instead of your players folding, that potentially left, one or two extra Edinburgh players on the left-hand side. Donny struggling to get into the line there, but great holding onto the ball by Edinburgh. They struggled in the first half of this match in terms of just trying to get over the line, and I think that will not only give them a lot of confidence, but it will put them in a direction where they feel they were starting to get in.
They have another head injury assessment on, and both has come on now. This one in the back row for Munster. Jack O'Donoghue is off, and we are all square as we approach the half-hour mark.
And a pretty able replacement to come to this field. This pretty young South African relatively has shown a lot of promise in his time at Munster. And, he'll want to make a massive impact as soon as he can.
Dean takes the restart. He'll be feeling great at the moment. See the space emerging on that attack as soon as Darcy Graham did what he did. And the Munster defence, which has been in this competition miserly,
He's out.
and been superb up until this point in this match, this quarter-final, conceding. But Edinburgh know how hard he's going to be to breach that defence.
He's bites. Oh, back foot. Thanks.
Not many teams are able to create that momentum, Miles, particularly in the 22, and that speed of ruck to catch Munster out like that.
Now Edinburgh start to go from deep here, and this exciting talent Graham. It's gone on to Hoyland. Was that forward? The assistant was right in line. He didn't move, but it is turnover ball, and it's Murray, and both is chasing, and it's Bill Matter. This will be interesting. He's going for the big handoff. Took a couple of giants to stop him.
No. Back foot.
Murray and Pyrgos in each other's pocket again, just away from Stander on the charge down. You've got a split second out there this afternoon. You really have. Carberry. And that's a chase from Conway. And he's there so quickly. He's given the penalty away. He's there so quickly, he wondered if he was in front of the kicker. It's caused a flashpoint, the challenge from Andrew Conway. Taking the man out in the air.
And let's let them all put their handbags away and stop throwing them at each other, because there's nothing actually going to happen here. But let's just look at what happened. Good kick chase. Both eyes on the ball. I think it's a fair contest. I don't think there's anything in it. I think that's a fair contest, Brian.
It is. The law says you're not allowed to, while the player's in the air, bring him down. And unfortunately, as he was coming down, it's just he grabs hold and pulls him down. Which, with the player being in the air, it's definitely not cynical, but definitely a penalty.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean. Like it's a penalty offence, but I don't think there's anything in it. I don't think there's need to start throwing handbags around like they were. Hopefully he's okay, and he'll be back to his feet.
As backline players, we like showing a little bit of a foray into that we can actually do that. So rather handbags than purses, but at least there was a bit of grunt out there in some way or form.
Sometimes you feel, maybe this is me with my horrendously cynical hat on, but the flashpoint is trying to create a situation that takes the referee into another area with his decision making. But
Miles, also in that moment, and there's just so many emotions. I think coaches, management staff, they ask for a bit of clarity, a bit of clear head mentality, because you don't want anything unnecessary to happen. And 11 times out of 10, nothing does actually happen. But you don't want someone losing their cool. And again, Edinburgh's player potentially throwing a punch, turning the penalty around. So handbag stuff. Again, it's people maybe showing a little bit more machism than they should.
To be fair to Conway, asked the question, he was in line with the kicker, not straight offside, and Tyke Byrne pulled that down beautifully. It's not just about all of his turnovers, which are astronomical really, the figures both now for Munster and previously for the Scarlets. He had a great run with the Scarlets in the Champions Cup last season.
Edinburgh are constantly looking to slow the play down from ruck for some reason. I know they want to get the perfect picture, but not always can you get the perfect picture. Sometimes you just got to play quick and play what's in front of you. And if I had one criticism over them right now during the game, it is that fact that they constantly look to slow it down. And it doesn't always work out for them. It hasn't been working out for them the whole time, because the Munster defence is so aggressive to get off the line, and they get their spacing and numbers right that, you know, they can't build that momentum again once they slow it down.
John Klein, and that ball just dislodged. This long history of semi-finals and quarter-finals, but in recent years, not the finals. As it took them long enough to get there in the first place. One of the epic journeys in the Heineken Champions Cup.
Balance.
Munster losing the semi-final last season, of course, to Racing 92. Last one in 2017, 2014, 2013. Can they give themselves another chance of progression to the final in 2019? Well, Edinburgh are making them work hard here with this pack performing at the set piece. Best two in the Pro 14, these two packs, when it comes to set piece stats. Not quite in Europe, but tremendous domestic form to take into this aspect of the game. Now, can they keep possession at the line-out?
I mean, just looking at it there, the ref has been talking to Dave Kilcoyne about keeping it up and not dipping down, keeping his hips low. I think he mentioned in the first scrum to him, first warning to him. So the referee just following up on the direction he's given the loose head.
Keeping eyes on Omani as well, who's a top stealer, and he has got in there, but comes back. Courtesy of the knock-on from Peter Omani to his opposite captain, McAnally. Barkley, beautifully set back that to Pyrgos to Mata. Hasn't been able to break free just yet, but he's threatened. And Van der Vaart to Hoyland, and now Johnston, who's the beneficiary from that amazing Mata offload against Toulon. But it's another turnover, and then Hoyland pops up again. Who wants it at the moment? Barkley again, and once more that ball will be set back quickly. And there's going to be a penalty here. Hoyland stays in the action, getting his chance because of that injury ending Blair Kinghorn's season, followed by ankle surgery. Referee gives the penalty, and you would have thought here Edinburgh will go for 3 points.
You never know, Miles. If rugby's one that's taught me anything, you just never know. But you know, the ball went back and forward, a couple of intercepts here and there. But look at the aggression. You know, the Munster are showing coming off the line. Edinburgh are getting into the game. They're running onto the ball more than taking it static. You see Mata doing it, you see Barkley do it, and that's what they need. He might not be breaking the gain line, but he's driving and he's getting it over and building momentum.
Penalty there for taking the leg away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit silly. Law says you actually can't play the scrum off, and you know, I know in the heat of trying to physically impose yourself, you do something really silly. But that was a really silly penalty that gave Edinburgh a really easy 3 points. So Munster will be looking to capitalise on the momentum shift that they had a couple of minutes ago. But all of a sudden, the ball's back in Edinburgh's courts, and they're looking really confident with ball in hand at the moment.
They did front, and when you look back over the whole of the half, you would say that's a pretty fair reflection of territory and the areas that Edinburgh have been in, but you only get the points You've actually gone over the line or slotted the kicks.
You say fair reflection, Miles. They could have been 9 points even clearer in the lead now. So having turned down those potential three kicks at poles now. But again, with the amount of possession, not great to see Joey Carberry coming off there.
Well, he went into the game with his hamstring problem that ended his Six Nations, and as we approach half-time, he is replaced by another player coming back from injury, the Kiwi Tyler Blayendal. Certainly performed well for Munster in previous American Champions Cup quarter-finals. Remember his 21 points against Toulouse a couple of years ago.
It's mine.
Munster had a convincing win. They win this one. I think we all know now it's not going to be convincing. Watson needs to get back in there. He's been driven off the ball. So much disruption being created there at the tackle. Must be a hard one for Pascal Gauzer to referee. So much happening in there. That has been knocked forward, so there's an advantage here to Edinburgh.
No, back.
John Ryan sent back.
That's over. Van Open.
That's a great take.
Munster have been fantastic under the high ball, both on attack and defence, and again it gives them another platform to attack from in their own half, with the potential of going backs against forwards, with Conor Murray slowing down the play just to make sure that we can have some Conor Murray magic off the kick.
Darcy Graham coming in, falls for Mata in the end. Graham really flew in there. No regard for his own personal safety. It's a forest of players.
Again, they're slowing it down, looking for the perfect picture, and getting to this pick and go mode, and then maybe kick or go to the edge. For a team like Munster, I think they have to be a little bit more inventive and have to play a little bit quicker to catch a side like Munster. That's actually how they got their first try, by playing quick.
Another one for big tall Van der Merwe to try and get to, but Conway is in charge of the air at the moment. CJ Stander. Both up. Staying on because of the head injury assessment to Jack O'Donoghue. Murray to the blind side. There's not going to be much space there, so Conway gives it a whack off the boot. Mata can't quite control with his. He's got support though. Comes from Graham. Now Graham is setting off here because he saw the space. Oh, look at that! What a run! And he forces Blayendal to turn. There's a quick swivel from Blayendal, and he was in position. Here comes Mata, and he's got space in front of him. How inviting is this for the big Fijian? Carries over halfway. It's a rousing finish to this first half. Purgos, Van der Walt, Dean the try scorer to Toulis. And that was exhilarating from Darcy Graham. That's been knocked forward into his own man. And we'll have a minute left. And another scrum. Oh, an accidental offside, so it doesn't get elevated to a penalty. Here's the run from Graham.
I mean, great idea of the Gates to go through it, and the dog-led Brian. I mean, you know more about bringing the ball back from that field.
But just also identifying who was in front of him. You saw he had two forwards next to each other, and forwards in that second defensive line as well. Kick off the right foot, potentially not quite where he wanted it. Tyler Blayendal had sort of covered that right hand side of the field, so maybe looking towards his right, there would have been a bit better opportunity. But I think that's something we've really seen come to the fore for Edinburgh this season. They're willing to back themselves not only on the attacking play, but a counter-attacking play as well, and that's where the likes of Van der Merwe, Hoyle and Graham have really come into the game, and they've been absolutely brilliant at that. So wonderful to see, and again lighting up the field like they should be.
And there's a bit of opportunity there, Brian, particularly inside their own 22 when they're defending a set piece, because Munster are putting four in the backfield, aren't they? Well, they're three and the wingers half. And there's a lot of space there for Edinburgh to go. I mean, it's only a matter of time with the players that they have that they might test that.
Jamie, you touched on it earlier, you know, it's about thinking quick on your feet. You know, all of a sudden, if they want to do sort of just set up that ruck to potentially kick it out, but, you know, all of a sudden, you know, he saw an opportunity, mismatch in front of him, and, you know, thought quickly of, you know, how to attack that. And like I say, you know, you get 80 meters downfield from quick thinking.
Trudge!
It was a brilliant finish from the quick tap just short of the Edinburgh line. This one on halfway, the scrum. See Stander now packing down on the flank. Blandal and Farrell. And Farrell just bursts his way through Dean. Murray. And the mark is called. And with the clock in the red.
You've got to tap it first,
And Henry Pyrgos just making sure that the ball is tapped and then kicked out. Done by the book. And Edinburgh can go back into the changing room for the half-time lead. Keith Earls got the first score. Against the run of play, really. It was all Edinburgh early on. They turned down some kicks at goal. They were going for the corner. When they did get the try, it was scored by Chris Dean. And at half-time, we have this score. Edinburgh 10, Munster 7. Very similar crowd figure that to the quarter-final here in 2012 against Toulouse. Gregor Townsend was part of the big tackle show this morning on Channel 4. Enjoying the quarter-final atmosphere and contest in front of it all this afternoon. Edinburgh come out. Their third quarter-final, so they don't have the history to draw on. Both previous matches against Toulouse, one I mentioned in 2012, but also way back in 2003-2004 when they had to go to Toulouse and lost quite heavily on that day, 36-10. Munster, this, as we know, a record 18th knockout appearance. Already had the record, it's building on it now. And of the 17 previous quarterfinals, they've won 13 of them, and 4 of the 7 away, which laughs in the face of the statistic, which we always trot out this time of year, that away wins in the quarterfinal, pretty rare percentage. Home wins over the years, 77%. And Munster know how to buck the trend. Can they come back in this second half? It's not exactly a mountain to climb. This is tight.
If anyone knows how to win when they're away, Miles, it's Munster. And they've got to do it the way Munster have always done it. And that's not it. You know, taking your eye off the ball, you got to be in the moment. You got to be big. You got big players who've got to step up in the big moments. And unfortunately, you know, Tyke Byrne will be disappointed with himself there. He's just taking his eye off the ball for a second. Always frustrating, can happen to anyone, but such is the pace of the defensive line, Brian, that Edinburgh and both sides, to be honest, have today.
Yeah, also interesting to see, Jamie, that, you know, Conor Murray opting to go back in the blind side, where, you know, that defensive line is sort of coming back and trying to find their position back in play. And, you know, if held onto that ball, you know, could potentially be a little bit different in terms of going forward. But now Edinburgh attacking platform from a scrum that they'll feel they can get pretty far over that advantage line, and we see Van der Merwe. You know, he works himself off the wing and, you know, could potentially get his hands on the ball.
Pyrgos goes looking for his winger. Bright sunshine now. I think the drizzle and cloud are long gone. And calmly.
What do you make of this, Jamie? Again, slowing down the ball. You know, we've talked about it in the first half. If this Edinburgh team wants to put Munster under pressure, you know, they've got to sort of put, you know, a lot of quick thinking on, you know, on display.
First look on blue, second red. First look.
Great work there. I think it's Tyke Byrne showing his GAA football skills to get the hand out and get the block down on the ball. And then player he is in terms of on the ball, and then he's back into the game straight away in terms of where not focusing on the mistake but focusing on what he can do in that moment, which is get the block down. And now they have a scrum off the back of it.
So Munster's put in.
Once you are engaged at bind. Yeah. Middle.
Hamish Watson saw there. He's, well, I was hearing yesterday, promised to cut the mullet if Edinburgh win today. That very fact should sway neutrals.
You know what? They should say if they win it that he'll cut it off and go longer on it, Let it grow right out.
Any mullet during your playing days, Jamie?
I'm a big fan of a random haircut.
He wants to have it back, but not the most convincing way. Is Sweetenham. And referee is bringing them all the way back, because the reason why it wasn't convincing is that the penalty was conceded by Edinburgh.
You have the two options: tackle without the ball, early tackle, or penalty here for the scrum. You prefer here? Yeah.
Joey Carberry went into the game on the back of a recent hamstring problem, and there he is, nursing it now. Replaced by Tyler Blandall. He does well for his side there.
This is a real test of the strength of this Munster squad. When you consider last-minute changes at full-back before the game, different guys like Billy Holland had to come on and cover for Klein for a while. Blendenhall is on now covering for Joey Carberry, who would have been starting in the reps all week. But now they have a great moment as a unit to show what they're about with their system, with a line out in just on the 22, and they score a lot of tries off both set piece and first phase.
Trying something here at the line out with Omani. Sneak through. CJ Stander. Back to Conor Murray. Dave Kilcoyne has carried really well today. That's nice from Scannell to Blandall. There's Conway. Murray. Carried by Niall Scannell, the hooker. With Sean Cronin out of the Ireland squad during the Six Nations. Murray, Blandall, Rory Scannell. Up came Matter. Referee is going to give the high tackle, but he's going to let it develop first of all with Farrell and Earls. Then Sweetenham, sneaky little kick in behind, nearly worked. And Sweetenham knew how close that was, and the apology offered by Big Bill Matter.
You can see him, he gets off the line pretty aggressive. He's a tall man, and it's hard for him to get down. Scannell, goes for the gap, and it's a fair penalty. He hits him high. The ref calls it though, no menace in it, and now Munster are taking their points, and hopefully it'll be 10-all after this. After what was just good play by Munster and holding on the ball and going through the phases and creating that nice, we talk about it a lot, that that ruck of 3-4 seconds and just getting into their phases, into their shape, and that's what you get. That's your reward you get out of it.
Blandall taking over the job in full here. Not just directing and orchestrating from fly half, kicking job too. And Carberry, the leading point scorer in the competition this season. Now off the field, Blandall to level things. At the start of this second half, he does. It's certainly all set up for some finish for these fans here at Murrayfield today, and a tense finish for the coaches.
And Miles, it's games like these where you look for that one bit of spark, and on both sides you got individuals that have that X factor. But as this game plays out, there's going to be that one moment, one opportunity for these players to step out on the biggest stage and do something that puts their team in the lead.
Van der Waalt's restart caught by Sweetenham. Scored 5 tries in the Pro 14 competition this season, so he was a hard man to leave out. But he was left out originally from the 23-man squad. Mike Haley going down ill this morning. A real adjustment there for Munster. They'll have to readjust now and try and tackle Mata. Twice a man of the match in the tournament against Toulon. And de Vaart, pullback this time. There goes Dean, good straight from the centre, supported by his centre colleague Johnston. Quickly to the breakdown. Gilchrist carries now. Survivor from the 2012 quarter-final against Toulouse. Gilchrist the second row. It's Barkley back to Purgos. Does come back so well from John Barkley. Every breakdown, it's like you get a can of drink out the machine.
or some jellies, you know. But he's precision, you know. He has all the basics nailed down, does them excellently. You know, placing the ball. People think they don't put a lot of emphasis on it, but you got to place that ball well, because the presentation of that ball dictates the speed at which the scrum half can get the pass away. And you see there, the scrum half he gets it on a platter, basically, Brian, and is able to, has time, assess what's in the backfield and drill it down into the corner.
And it's also a lot more precise when it becomes that. So, you know, all of a sudden the cleaners, that first rival, you know, has a good opportunity to know what target is going at. If the ball's there on a platter, there's no worrying about having to attack the tackler. The scrum half knows that, you know, you're only potentially putting one man into the ruck to win the ball back. So you're getting great ball on the front foot, you know, as quickly as possible. And again, you know, Barkley, not only from a leadership position, but, you know, from a precision, you know, point of view, knows exactly what he's doing out on the park.
Leave it. Leave it.
Precise there at the line out, Munster.
Leave it.
Murray. It's his counter-attack ball for Edinburgh. With Hoyland. Graham saw he could do again in the first half. Off he goes again. 3 tries in his last 2 internationals. And he took full advantage of the opportunity in the Six Nations Championship. It's Hamish Watson finding Mata. Oh, that's a good carry from Bill Mata. And again, it's always 2 men who have to stop him, sometimes 3. Schoeman, who's pledged himself to Scotland. The South African-born prop, another former Bull.
It's quite a few of these South Africans, you know. Duan van der Merwe, whose brother Akka, who's also coming up to Sale next year, is, you know, eligible to play for Scotland next season, I think. So again, you know, guys coming over and making a massive impact.
Is that Akka the Angry Warthog, his nickname?
Angry Warthog. I actually said before the game, Miles, that backyard footy between him and his brother must have been pretty intense to watch.
You get a fair idea, if you've not seen him play, how he plays with his nickname. There's Conway. Mind you, Edinburgh just signed a player called the Sledgehammer. I think we know what he's going to bring.
That is a great chase by the winger, and also by, I think it's Watson's on the ball, but it's a great chase by them all there. If we get a chance to see it, you know, great chase by Van der Merwe to get the tackle, put pressure on, and then Watson stays in there, and he is so hard to get off the ball. He's got really strong wide foot base there. He's buried in, he's supporting his own body weight. He's, you know, if anything, the Munster guys are actually kind of helping him, because they are trying to force him back onto a strong position of his feet and the wide base. But that's a great turnover from what was nothing. You know, the play had slowed down, they did the box kick, really good chase, and now they have a penalty opportunity.
We've seen in the last few minutes some perfect back row play from Barkley and Watson, and Mata too. They contributed in the charge upfield. It's a lovely blend, that 3. Might have delivered 3 points here for Edinburgh and Van der Vaart. They most certainly have. It's a very confident kick. You looked at his face and you thought, that is going over, and that's what his side and his boss will want to see.
I mean, that's a fair return for what they're doing right now and the way the game is going. But they have to continue to keep that pressure on and continue to play rugby in the right places. As Munster don't need much, as they've shown, to get back into this game and to get on the scoreboard.
Just about every prediction for this match was so close. Hey. Some had it one way, some had it the other, some couldn't split them. And we do have extra time as an option today.
Would you back yourself, Miles, if they went to the kicking?
Hey, bind, fully bind.
Well, back myself to get one. Those days are sadly long gone. That's out on the fall from Purgos. Said what a good box kicker He is, and that stays. That not going to go away, that assessment, but that's one that got away for him.
You know, that's something that he'll be frustrated about. I mean, he should have communicated to the ref, asked the question, you know, was it carried back or not? And he's probably a bit disappointed as well. He probably didn't mean it to go out, Brian. He wanted a contestable infield.
He definitely didn't want that one to go out. That's purely down to execution. And again, now gives Munster that attacking opportunity on the 22 from, you know, a platform like the line out that they're unbelievably strong from. So again, you know, silly error, and Munster hoping to capitalise.
Just gives the chance for the impetus, the momentum to go back to Munster. There's going to be a penalty. Referee wants to see if the assistant got a number. The infringement at the line out can be dangerous, that, so the referee will always blow for that if he sees it.
One blue side.
Coming in at the side, Schumann.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough. I thought he was penalising them from coming through and getting on Tyke Byrne, but yeah, Schumann is definitely coming in from the offside position there.
And flying in with that sort of intent just to chop it down.
Yeah, this is where you need cool heads. You know, they've now given away two very silly errors, basic errors, and now they're defending a line at 5 metres, and they've actually got winger and 9 at the front. So expect some sort of loop around play here. Actually, they've got Farrell and Scannell at the back of the line out as well. So this is going to be one of those 13-man mauls.
We've got one of the longest line-outs you'll ever see here. Goes on forever. You'd feel a little bit left out if you weren't involved. Backs there, Earls and Murray. Was never going to go to them, but they are going to join. In goes Rory Scannell too. Farrell pulls away, but it's at the back here with Murray to Farrell. It's very narrow, this attack. And those Sweetenham waits in hope on that far side in the sunshine.
They've got 14 players within the post. They've got to get a bit more width into us.
Or maybe they deliver the direct try. It will be some try. Edinburgh knows what coming here. And there's Tyke Byrne. Murray. Now they might have a bit more chance for width though. Turned back inside again by Blandar. Murray again. Klein, supported by Conway. And when they say the numbers on their backs don't matter, well, they really don't in this attack. Tyke Byrne is stopped. Murray, Blandar now. There might be a bit more order in the back division. Both have joined him. Here is Sweetenham. He's come out of the sun. Nearly stretched to the line there. Murray. Short to Stander. Stander trying to power on. Oh, that is so close. Referee can see it, gives advantage. There's no try yet. There might be now. Was that Ryan going in?
Wow, Sweetman and CJ Stander are both so close with that.
No con. I'm back to the penalty.
Well, the assistant steps in. He had a good view on the other side of how it all ended. Referee got himself in great position initially.
There you go. CJ Stander gets low. He's driving. He's striving for the ball. I think the ref says there a knock on there, but I can't see which Edinburgh player it is. But it looks like. Oh, there we go. You know, John Ryan, right decision, sees the line to go for it. But obviously there was a penalty given from before that. A great call by Munster. They're gone for the scrum, Brian. We, as backlines, the backs always love a scrum, don't they?
The backs do love a scrum. I think the forwards love a scrum a little bit more 5 metres from the line, Jamie. But it comes down to, you know, if Munster convert, you know, all good in the decision. But turning down another opportunity for 3 points in a pretty kickable position for Tyler Blandar. Really interesting, and you know, hopefully Munster can come away with something for their efforts at the moment.
We've seen all afternoon the pressure on the nines, on the scrum halves, but the timing has to be right.
It's a cracking attacking platform though for Munster and their team in general. Like I say it every time we're looking at a game here. There's 16 forwards in a little 10-metre box there. You know what I mean? There's so much space now. Look at Keith Earls. Keith Earls was right out nearly on the 5-metre line, pulling the back line out, showing that space. You know, Brian, you'll know a little bit more about this, but all that space with a backline, it's hard. It's a great attacking platform.
It's a great attacking platform, especially if you get that 8-9, you're 9 running about 3-4 meters, a little bit further from the scrum. You sort of automatically get a number up on attack. So I think, from an attacking point of view, as a backline player, you love having that left hand side scrum because it just gives you so many different options. And we see someone like Keith Halls getting some extreme width within the 22 that puts the Edinburgh players under a little bit of doubt in terms of exactly how they start, how they finish, and who the actual man is going to be.
It's one of those nervous, edgy scrums because everybody out there knows exactly how important this particular scrum is, this stage of the game.
Set.
It happens now. They have a massive say in the ultimate result here. Oh, that's good from Edinburgh. They really put the drive on. Referee's going to give it. Oh, onside. Take a bow there. They're out of their seats here.
We said big moments, big players, big opportunity, and that is a huge one, particularly against Munster, who pride themselves on the scrum. But to see them just get it up a little bit on the left-hand side and then drive it back over on top of them, that's absolutely huge. And from a mindset, from a mindset point of view, that it could potentially break some players.
Not only that, but you can see what it means to every one of those Edinburgh players. You have your left winger who's all on his own, running in to congratulate his forwards, and that's a monumental effort from that pack. WP now coming off the field, he'll definitely be coming off with a massive smile on his face, Miles.
Interesting time then for changes here on the back of that scrum. Simon Bergen's coming on for Edinburgh to replace WP now. John Barclay goes, of course, only recently returned after 10 months out. Off goes WP now then, and Magnus Bradbury is on. So Bergen and Bradbury with Ritchie, Dell, Ford, all still to come. International forwards of some repute and great options that Edinburgh have. They ever put out a pack, starting pack and replacement pack as strong as this. Stephen Archer's on to replace John Ryan, who so nearly scored just moments ago.
Ball available.
And Miles, we go down to hindsight being the best vision. Munster turning down the three-point opportunity to go to poles. All of a sudden now fighting back for the ball in their own half of the field.
Sweetnam. There'll be one or two of those this afternoon, and whoever loses will think about them a lot. Whoever wins will not care a jot.
That is a fact.
Peter O'Mahony. Conor Murray just trying to feed those forwards at the moment. They're hungry for ball around the fringe to try and make those meters, but Edinburgh tight as anything there around that fringe.
Skuman just gave away the penalty a little bit early on, and he's made amends for what happened 5 minutes earlier. And again, as a prop, putting yourself over in a breakdown and getting that just gives you so much energy, not only for yourself but for your pack of forwards and your whole team. And now it gives Edinburgh that opportunity in the Munster half again.
But it's Stephen Archer carries really well there, but gets isolated. His support players there who they're just caught a half a metre behind you. And Brian has said it before, at this level it's nearly like Test rugby. It pretty much is Test rugby, and that little gap is all you need for someone to get on the ball and get a poach.
Just thinking, Toulis, Skuman, Watson, the hair has it at the moment.
Miles, you amaze me every time with the phrases you come out with sometimes, I tell you.
This is Edinburgh back on the attack, and Pyrgos. And here comes Darcy Graham up from full-back. Oh, that's brilliant from Graham again. He gets you out of your seat. Oh, certainly, every time. Skuman once more. He's going to leave nothing out there, nothing to chance. Dean going wide. Hoyland waits. He needs support. Murray's there. Picked up by Mata. Inside to Johnston. Edinburgh building here. And agonisingly close. The ball is out. Well, Murray thought so, but he's driven away. Here comes Grant Gilchrist. Pyrgos. McAnally. And you sense this is really big now as well. If Edinburgh score here with this 3-point lead and trying to add to it. The vantage for the knock-on. Here's Van der Vault. Can they find a way through? Van der Vault back inside. Incredible hands, incredible defence. And brilliant rugby from both sides.
Oh, I'm out of breath, Miles. I mean, the way they kept it in between, I think it was Mata, and I'm not too sure who else. I think it could have been Hoyland on the right-hand side, keeping the ball in play. You know, players flying in all over the place around the ruck, making a really abrasive ruck and generating that quick ball. And how different do Edinburgh look, Brian, when they have that quick ball?
So much different. We asked it from them in the first half, not to slow that ball down. And again, when they have that attacking opportunity with the rucks less than 2-3 seconds, cleaners getting there pretty quickly and giving themselves some fantastic attacking opportunities, Jamie. And again, we'd love to see some more of that in the 22 middle scrum. I reckon Edinburgh are going to be pretty confident they can do something here. Just
to come back on those replays, though, they were cracking hands, and the awareness of the players to realise that Munster are using the sideline as another defender to keep the ball alive, keep it in play, keep it moving. It's really good self-awareness by the players to keep that momentum going in the game.
Schumann, one of the hair-bear bunches down there at the moment, receiving treatment.
You were under the pressure.
And if they are to shout,
all the front row
the hair has it. Will they shout unlock this defence? Because at the moment they just can't get through or around Munster, who are building that wall again. It is their trademark, and Jeremy Loughman is on now for Munster.
Yeah, big moment. It's like a hooker coming onto the field for a massive lineup. Loosehead comes straight onto the field and he's got an absolutely huge scrum he's got to defend here, where they're going to want to get it up on the right hand side. They're loading up. They've got 4 defenders on the right hand side loading up on it. He's got a big task ahead of him.
Not only that, but you got big Bill Maida running off the back of that scrum. I definitely don't want to be Tyler Blundell having to worry about Maida running into my channel.
Set.
Can Edinburgh deliver here? What a great position. Mata goes off the base of that scrum. Pyrgos, he's gone wide. Hoyland, great tackling again. It was Conway, and the flag is up.
That's absolutely superb defence
there
by
from Munster.
Absolutely superb. As a guy who 15 or 20 minutes before kickoff knew was starting in a different position, to come up and put up a play like that on defence is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, they've gone quick, Miles.
Trying to catch Edinburgh napping there.
Seven!
And Sweetnam's follow-up as well. The combination there between Conway and Sweetnam.
Textbook there from Conway, by the way, and tackle technique on the edge and how to do it. I mean, that's something kids should look at and see how he does it. He's got the line on him, lines it up perfectly, and just drills him into touch and wraps up the legs as well to drag him into touch and get him out.
But also some great following up by Sweetnam. All of a sudden, where the offload game is unbelievably crucial in today's rugby. Sweetnam doesn't work hard off the inside. All of a sudden, you got Edinburgh scoring a try. So fantastic work by both Conway and Sweetnam to keep Edinburgh out from what is a definite try-scoring opportunity.
Game turners, moments like those. And we'll have to wait and see. 17 exciting minutes left. If you want to know why we're in love with this sport, this is why. What's in front of us now, what we're seeing here, that's just gone slightly forward, which is a frustration for Edinburgh. They were building through the middle there. Johnson thought he got away.
Right idea, because they've been going out the back quite a lot and being quite lateral when they do out the back. I mean, there's not much in that, but it's the right idea, Brian.
It is the right idea. There haven't been many first phase attacking opportunities for this Edinburgh backline. We know how lethal they can be from first phase, and again, they've been laid the platform, and unfortunately, it was pretty flat. But I think the referee saw something different.
I've seen it not being penalised, Miles. But look, the decision's been made. On to the next phase. That's what the players out there will be saying.
This is not a day to dwell, not quarter-final day.
Stand up.
Does the last four beckon again for Munster? Or can Edinburgh find a way through like they did in 2012, and they're saying getting so close to winning their semi-final against Ulster. But you sense now there is something more solid about the base that Edinburgh have. They can really push on from here. These are exciting times. The squad under Richard Cockrell looks laden with talent. Can they deliver for him and for their supporters now in these closing minutes of this quarter-final?
I think Niall Scannell there has had a cracking game. I think he's one of the in-form hookers in Ireland, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Sean Cronin and Rory Best and that whole trifecta of different hookers that are playing well. So, you know, shout out to him for having a particularly good game, and you know, it's great to see him back in form.
McAnally stays on against Rhys Marshall. Another player who's been in excellent form. Up from Pyrgos. It's not one of his best. Well, Sweetenham makes it good for Munster. It's a little scramble on the floor there. Be careful, because you can get penalised for not releasing, having been tackled. Farrell, hard to tackle, hard to bring down. No sign of the injury to his knee that he picked up in the Six Nations. I think we can officially say he's well over that. Blayandal, Conway, and Conway again shows that competitive spirit that runs through his body. Tyke Byrne.
No.
Murray. Off goes Keith Earls. And if anyone can find a way, it's that man. Find a way through. And talking of competitive spirit, he's 100% built for a match play situation as Keith Earls. But Edinburgh strong again in defence. McAnally strong again. He has been magnificent today.
If you want to talk by leading by actions and what leadership is all about and captaincy is all about, it's moments like that where, you know, he just identifies a half moment there. I think it's Holland is a little bit off his feet, is not effective at the clear out in taking McAnally away. McAnally identifies that and just gets on the ball.
Not just that, he made sure he didn't make that a ruck, so sort of stepped it away. You know, Holland goes off his feet and again puts his middens on the ball as quickly as possible. So some great leadership. You know, when you look for talisman, you look to your captain first and foremost, and you know, decisions like that could come up and change the course of this game.
Look the first man.
But now a huge one. Can they execute off this lineup? Munster have been putting them under huge pressure. They've changed it up and gone to a lot of short man lineouts. They've gone to another, I think it's a 5-man lineout here with Mata at scrum half. Just trying to get momentum off it.
Red here. Red here. It's good.
Munster has stepped into the gap already. Referee didn't like it. Clears it to create a fair contest. Didn't last for long. Omani.
Good fit. Wait.
Nearly got there again.
Wait. Once.
Pyrgos shapes to kick again, gets it over the advancing Botha. Van der Merwe, now can he use his height? No, Earls always in the perfect position, offloads to Marshall.
No hands?
Not quite got to that stage yet where Munster are chasing it, but the pressure will ramp soon. Graham. And still, absolute joy to watch him. Schumann. And in a different way, a joy to watch as well. Dean's there. You can hear the tackles on the referee's microphone there. Mata. Van der Walt, this is really tight. Bradbury uses his power to blast a hole there.
No, 11.
Bit of a slow retreat from Bergen, and Munster didn't like that. Here's Pyrgos. Van der Walt. Mata. We'll deal with him again, much to Munster's credit. Van der Walt again looking around to try and find the right man. Well, Bradbury somehow has kept that alive. Tyke Byrne's gone down.
The hits going into this game are insane. Peter O'Mahony looks like he's got a shot on him. Tyke Byrne is down on the ground. I mean, the intensity at the ruck, at the maul here is at that test match level. We just hope these guys are actually all right.
Le plaquage t'appelait pas, c'est sur qui? Wait. Who is your partner? Who is your partner? Attends.
So here's Pascal Gauzer.
C'est un coup d'épaule en renvers.
Just making sure that nothing illegal has happened there. Is there a late tackle?
Yeah, really silly
Van der
about
Belt.
Piers Schoeman. There's nothing in it in terms of where he was involved, and to do something like that could really be costly for his team in a position where they had an opportunity to go for the 3 points. And if the referee overturns this decision, really silly by the prop.
Blue captain.
Well, there's a shove there after the ball had gone, and Byrne comes to the floor, colliding with his own man.
First infringement, the late tackle by the red on the 10 blue, and reaction by the one blue. He charged the player off the ball. I reverse the penalty. Penalty against one blue. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's Schumann, apologies, who charged.
That's a silly penalty. In my book, it's a little bit lazy, if I'm honest, and it's very cynical. And he's now let down his team where they had actually a penalty from good play, and now they have to defend the line-out against a team that scores most of their tries off set piece.
It's not just lazy and cynical, it's inexcusable. At this level, when you have an opportunity to put pressure on your position, you've won the penalty, you're not involved in any play close to where the ball is, and to do something like that, it's just really inexcusable. And he's let his team down considerably in that action.
Could really hurt his side here. He's played so well up until that point, but Byrne can't take it. It's come through though. Blayandar saw what was on still. We are about to enter the final 10 minutes here.
I can just imagine how Mr. Richard Cockrell's fuming up in the coach's box with with what happened a few minutes ago.
Watson's down and Murray brings it away. There might be an extra man here. There is! Earls won't miss!
Oh, what a finish!
Keith Earls has done it again! And the Munster Red meeting fire with fire here. And Keith Earls epitomising that.
That's a great finish. Make sure he's not out. He's not out. His feet can't get out by just getting off the ground. Two hands. Make sure he gets the ball down. That's textbook. Shows his acceleration. Great pace by Munster. Lovely offload by Conor Murray there, and cracking hands by the big man Farrell to put Keith Earls. You can see what it means to him there, Brian.
Yeah, he's we spoke about it earlier. Guys making that opportunity to make an impact, make a difference, and Keith Earls working off his wing, unbelievably hard. Looked for work in the middle of the field and swept around with the rest of their backs. And again, we spoke about that attacking opportunity given to Munster by Schoeman, and all of a sudden they now face themselves going down into the last quarter.
And you just knew when he got it, you knew he'd finish, because he does in those situations time and time again. Mr. Reliable. More than that because of the skill, but what I mean is you can rely on him every time to get over the line when he's given a sniff.
And how important this kick is, because it turns it in from a 2-point game, which is just a penalty, into a 4-point game, which means they got to get a try coming into the last few minutes of the game.
This could be crucial as well. At the moment, just a 2-point gap. Can this make Edinburgh chase the try? It's looking good from Blayandar. They will have to chase a try. And they turn down those kicks early on.
That is a huge kick, Miles, from where it is, literally on the edge. You might as well be in the stand kicking that, to be honest, right? Slices it over. and they're now 4 points ahead. All the pressure shifted back onto Edinburgh, and we're going to see what this Edinburgh team is all about now. And this is a huge opportunity to show what they're all about.
It's all good and well when you're going forward, Miles, and like Jamie says, it's now about trying to find something different when you're behind, something they haven't been all the game. Who's going to spark this team? Is it going to be a massive defensive effort? Is it going to be something on attack that gives them a lot to smile about when that final whistle goes?
Jim Hamilton watching on the sidelines. What a match, Jim.
Oh, mate, what a match. And I think we were just all waiting for that one moment that was going to change the game, and we saw it there, didn't we? Schuman's been so good in this game, and just that one lapse of concentration, and we know how good Munster are. The guys mentioned it in commentary off line out, and yeah, I mean, now it's going to be a really, really long 8 minutes to see if Edinburgh can get back into it. But yeah, I mean, the whole half's been with Edinburgh, big moments at the scrum when the 5 minutes out with a turnover. They've been great at the breakdown, but it just shows you a little bit of inexperience against a fantastic Munster team, and the game's completely changed. It's turned on its head.
And he's taking his toll. We've seen Watson go off. Now Bennett on for Johnson too. Ritchie is the replacement for Hamish Watson. There he is, straight into the game. Needs to be.
Play on.
Suddenly the clock is against the Edinburgh side.
Oh!
And extra time looks off the table now. It's about this. It's do or die here. Semi-final or exit door. Having worked so hard through the pool stages to give themselves this chance, both sides, it is now on the line with 7 minutes left.
Listen to that crowd, Miles. They've got the hair, the tails are up. Listen to that crowd. They know they've got the momentum now.
There's Bergen. Pyrgos. And Tulis back to Pyrgos again. Van der Vault, Dean wide once more. Graham, does he have that moment of brilliance to match the score from Earls? Will supersede it really, because Edinburgh will be in front if they can get a try. Here's Mark Bennett. Great to see him over his injury issues and part of days like this. Bradbury storming on again. Mountain of a man. McAnally doesn't really deserve to be on the losing side as a skipper today, but somebody is going to have to take that. Ritchie. Danger on the wrong side there, Archer.
Nothing. But
it's being held in, yes, referee gives that assessment. Oh, Mata is stripped of the ball. Blandar kicks, and listen to those Munster supporters again. Bradbury gets himself back there. He'll have to show a strong shoulder here, and does. But Edinburgh will have to go from pretty deep again.
Yeah, and you can see the way Munster are defending. They're putting four in the backfield, and they're just basically saying, right, Edinburgh, have a go. If you want to kick it, we have it.
But what Munster have done unbelievably well, they've sort of contained Bill Mudder, that posed a massive threat before the start of this game, and he just hasn't allowed to get himself going. He hasn't, as much as got over the gain line, he hasn't been as influential as what Edinburgh I think would have liked, and that's credit to Munster, nullifying the threat that is Bill Mudder.
Here's Chris Farrell, again makes a gain line contribution. Conor Murray, he'll have one eye on the clock now.
Behind.
Just like Ronan O'Gara had all those years as the Munster 10 alongside Peter Stringer. Both of them knew exactly how to run it down. But there's Darcy Graham. Edinburgh still in this, still in fighting. Schumann trying to make amends, but maybe just forcing it. It did come off a Munster player. Edinburgh will throw into this line-out.
I've got to say, for a big man, he's had such a good game. He's had such an influential game. One mistake kind of cost the team a little bit. And I always like to see it. He's thinking right. I mean, he's trying to get the ball around the back of the player. Keith Earls does very well to identify that, and Earls, he has plenty of experience on the wing and how to how to manage that. He's probably backing himself, thinking that if the prop gets by, that he can chase him down. But just, some great, I've got to say, from Schumann, some great play today. One mistake, cost the team all right, but he still had a cracking game.
Now replaced by Alan Dell. Pause in play here just builds the drama, really.
Yeah, it's all about controlling now. I mean, there's a couple of minutes left in the game. You got to control the pace of the game, control the tempo, control where they play, more importantly, and that's what Munster are really, really good at. And they know how to finish out games, and they know how to finish out knockout games, more importantly.
Purgos has limped off and been replaced by young Charlie Shield, son of the former Scotland international centre Graham, and grandson of Dougie Morgan, the former Scotland and Lions scrum half. And thrown into this now, 21 years of age, as Richard Cockrell realises that it's now or never. Ross Ford on for McAnally. Oh, look at the picture there that tells the story of the effort. Scannell off and Goggin on. Comes back to Ford, does it? Who's got this ball? It's massive, and it's Munster's.
You can see what it means there, but that's Munster down to teeth. Billy Holland again, we talked about him before the game, turning big moments, coming onto the field and getting key turnovers at the line out. But that's the work that they put in. They put in a lot of work during the week, a lot of process, a lot of homework, particularly around the line out, and that's where it pays off in big games like that.
Did it in round 6 against the Exeter Chiefs. He's done it again now against Edinburgh in the quarter-final. Billy Holland.
And that's what you want from your bench. Billy Holland's done it, and we've had guys come on and make an impact. And when you come on as fresh legs, the team's looking to you not only for inspiration but to do the stuff clinically well that you've been training all week. And he's come out here and made a massive impact in this last 5 minutes that could see Munster pull it through.
Remember that Edinburgh scrum in this second half, which we thought might be a turning point. How the crowd responded. They're going to need to do it again here. Less than 3 minutes now.
Touch. By no. Set.
And the free kick. Edinburgh too keen on the move.
And Munster won't mind that at all. They're just eating up the minutes on the clock, and
I wouldn't be
the referee's asking them to hurry it up, but Munster are not going to fall into that trap.
They're probably going out of scrum now, actually, just to slow it down, take the time, and that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, there's 2 minutes coming in. He's calling time off now because there's a break in play because of an injury, but it's smart play by the guys.
The alternative was to go for touch, but of course they wouldn't have thrown into the line out. They might have said, look, we'll put it in the corner and you go from there, but Munster backed themselves to see it out now.
I mean, they know that Edinburgh have to score a try, essentially. So if they can control the tempo, carry 1 or 2 phases, keep possession, and then maybe play territory depending on where the clock is at. They might just go into that kind of zigzag kind of phase of carries with the forwards and just grind that clock out. But I can tell you one thing, between Conor Murray and Peter O'Mahony, they will guide this and control this game. And I know there's a couple of minutes ahead, but I think Munster are going to show what they're all about in closing out games.
As Jamie said that, just look at Conor Murray, how calm he looks. Checks and delivers to Goggin. Probably brought off the bench to do exactly that, just truck it up.
Stop!
Van der Merwe, Edinburgh have got it. They've got one shout here. Van der Vault. It's going to be absolutely amazing if they do it. An incredible score. Can they find it?
No!
When you consider how much ball Edinburgh have had, the positions they've been in over the whole of the match, have Munster proved again that they have found a way around to the victory. in this competition.
Tackle on chest, player.
Gilchrist looks for the handoff. Can they engineer something in the Munster half? Shield takes them on. These are risky passes now, but they've got to risk. They've got to go for it. Graham, final seconds here. Oh, Bergen runs into Holland again. One more turnover and Munster have it.
Ball available.
Shield, Gilchrist, some tired bodies out there now. Dean floats that accurately. Out to Hoyland, but Sweetnam's there. And Munster nearly there. Edinburgh just can't get close. They can't get inside that Munster half. They can't kick it away now. It has to be through the hands. Final play confirmed. Semi-final door about to close or not. That was suspicious, that pass, but Van der Merwe goes on. It's a wonderful run. And Darcy Graham.
No, we need to eight.
Is it another Scotland comeback? Van der Waal. Here's Bennett. Little fade. Gets the ball out. Hoyland's going to have to cut back inside. Mata was waiting, but there was no space. He was right on the touchline. Incredible drama here. Fans standing at the edge of the pitch screaming Edinburgh on. Bradbury. Slow ball, referee says good ball.
You have to be careful now not to give a penalty away, because Munster can kick for the corners then and still play the line out. So Munster have to be very, very careful here at how they defend.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the end of the game. Edinburgh will be able to take the line out should they go for the corner, but at the moment they're just concentrating on trying to keep the ball. Young Shield has got in position. Earls trying to come through on him. Toulis, phase after phase. Trying to do a Muncie, remember, famously against Northampton at Tobin Park some years ago. Just a drop goal that was required then for Ronan O'Gara. Edinburgh need a try here. Ross Ford back on the halfway line now. Where are they getting the energy from? Bradbury, he's one of the freshest out there, but even the time that he's been on, he's put in so much here.
Look at that defensive line as you look across the field. Munster only have one player in the backfield. The open wingers playing half. They've got field to field. They're just getting off the line and pushing this Edinburgh team backwards, as you can see. They've gone from just inside Munster's 10-metre line to back on their own 10-metre line.
A series of red rocks across the field, stopping this Edinburgh tide from coming in. Shield to Van der Waal. Goes for it again. Hoyland. Oh, that's close to the touchline now. Mata knew it. Inside from Van der Waal. Darcy Graham. You know, if he got half a chance to get away, he would. Gilchrist. Oh, look at the skill here. Edinburgh going again. But isolated. Ball comes back quickly. Brilliant to get with him. Up comes Ritchie. They're only back on halfway, but it feels like it should be further upfield. This phase of play has gone on for 4 minutes now. Shield to Gilchrist, pushed on by Toulis. Can they create a gap? Mata leaves it to Shield. Everyone's taking responsibility. Nobody's shirking here. This is absolutely incredible stuff. But Ritchie's dropped it, and that is it. And the knockout Kings have done it again. It's another semi-final for Munster. Can this season, can they take it to the final? But that is a thought for another day. It is just the supreme joy and relief of being the one to cross the line as the winner today. And there is the other side, Richard Cockrell, and the supreme disappointment. Your man of the match, Jamie.
I mean, there's been so many amazing players here, but for me, it's got to be Keith Earls today. for a couple of different reasons. He was the one that got them into the game with the quick thinking try. He's the one who followed up and finished the try really, really well. And time and time again, he was chasing balls that you thought were needless causes. He was collecting ball in the air, and for me, he epitomised what Munster were all about today.
Brian?
Fully agree. I think, you know, we spoke about someone stepping up to be that person that looks to make a difference, and Keith Earls was all over it. Not only do we see him on attack, on defence, he was constantly pestering the breakdowns, you know, looking for that counter-ups. You know, you might be small in stature, but what a magnificent effort he's given to this Munster team today.
I also got to say, just the way that game finished, with both making the tackle, he was actually playing the whole game. You can see him now, he's walking up to collect his boot. He was playing that last 5 minutes with one boot, and such is the determination. But look at the coach there. How happy is that man right there?
Glory be for Johan van Graaf.
He's praying to the gods there and thanking them, and now you can hear the crowd as well, and I think they're showing their appreciation for what it means to this team.
Munster, what you do time and time again is admirable. So admirable. And you deserve to celebrate again. But also a word for Edinburgh too. Of course they were going to be up for this, but they were in a very special way. They were superb, and they will be again under Richard Cockrell. But it's Munster into the semi-final again. Let's go down to Ed.
Keith, a massive performance. Fields of Bath and right ringing around the stadium, but they didn't make it easy for you, did they?
No, we know it was going to be a tough place to come. They're quite similar to ourselves, a lot of pressure, a lot of territory, and their work rate is phenomenal, and our support turned up again. It was like a home game, and we knew we needed an 80-minute performance, and we produced, but still plenty to work on.
The momentum was swinging back and forward, and it didn't seem like any team could hold on to it long enough to make the difference, but it was you that made the difference. Just take us through that try in the second half.
Yeah, no, as usual, it's all the forwards doing the hard work inside, creating an overlap for us, and Chris with some lovely soft hands, and I was just going straight for the corner flag, but I think our forwards put in an incredible effort, and as you said there, it was whoever was going to break first was going to win the game, and thankfully it wasn't us.
Well, you did get your 2 tries, and congratulations, you are the Heineken man of the match. Can we bring in Stuart Dunlop from Heineken to present the award?